Hey, what's up, TruExperience Nation? Hey, if you're new around here, welcome. I'm your boy, Richie McCaney. I'm the man with the mission. My wife is Amanda, and guys, our mission is to help you experience your best life. Excuse me, man, I'm a noob. Our mission is to help you learn how to experience your best life as we are learning to experience ours. We're about wealth, health, and experiences. If you want more information on that, you can go check out our story. You can check out our description here if you're on YouTube. If that's something you think you're interested in, man, y'all know what it is. Go ahead and like the page. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We drop a live every single day. What we're going to jump into today is how to make habits irresistible. If you've never watched any of my other videos, I'm doing a series from the book Atomic Habits. If you need to catch up or you want to catch up, go check my playlist out. I have them all in order. Okay, but we're talking about how to make habits irresistible. We talked about cues. Now we're on to the cravings. Irresistible, delectable, mouth-watering. I have to have it. I have to do the behavior. Our goal here is to create and become the type of person that can do what you want. All right, we need to repeat these behaviors. We want to build good habits. That's the point. Have you ever heard of the word supernormal stimuli? Don't worry if you haven't, because I hadn't before I read this book. Basically, it's a heightened version of reality. Okay, it's exaggeration of things that we're already naturally attracted to. Okay, and it boosts it up. So take, for instance, we're naturally attracted to people liking us or giving us compliments, right? Well, social media is an exaggerated version of that, because you can get more likes in an hour than you could if you were just at the office or if you was face to face with a lot of people. Here's a story. Come on, man. How my phone going to die? Here's a story about like this goose, right? To give you an example. So the scientists were sitting there watching this goose, and it nested on the ground. It had a little nest of eggs. Well, that little egg would roll out and go on the ground. And when it did, it'd see this round object. Its natural behavior that's built in was, let me go over here and roll my egg back up in the nest. Natural behavior. Well, he wanted to run a little test, so he goes over and he takes a little cue ball, right? The bird sees something round, and wouldn't you know it, it rolls it over there. That's just its natural instinct. That's its habit. So then he went, now this is the supernormal stimuli, took a volleyball. Okay, I don't know how big of eggs these things are, but y'all know the difference between a volleyball and a cue ball. Volleyball big. Took a volleyball over there, guess what? The bird, wouldn't you know it, went over there and rolled that stupid ball up in the nest like it was an egg. Here's the funny, it worked. It worked hard. It put in all kinds of energy to get that big old ball up there in the nest and sit on top of it. See, it was exaggerated. The bigger that thing was, it was like, I see round object, I must get in nest. The bigger the round object, the harder I must try to get it in the nest, like it's getting in there. That's the idea of supernormal stimuli. All right, and so our goal for habits is to try to, exaggerate the cravings that we have for a certain behavior that we want, so that we try harder to get it. I mean, if you want to increase the odds that a behavior happens and takes place, make the habit and the behavior more attractive. Before we get into that, let's talk about dopamines. We need to actually understand cravings. Now, I'm fascinated by this. I don't know if you will be or not, but I certainly was. And so let's talk about cravings. Now, listen to this motherfucking story about some rats. Don't get mad at me, Peter. Don't come at me. I didn't conduct the experiment. But there's a study with some rats done where the scientists went in and put some neurotransmitters that blocked the release of dopamine. This is called the dopamine feedback loop. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Blocked the dopamine feedback loop. Now, blocked the transmitter so it couldn't release any dopamine. Okay, you feel me? The motherfucking rats lost all desire to live. They had all the food. They had everything they needed to survive. They had no drive. They had no motivation. They had nothing. They wanted to do nothing. They stopped eating. They stopped drinking. They stopped having sex. And in a few days, they died of thirst. They just died. That's kind of scary. Like dopamine, like blocking dopamine can kill your motivation and drive like that. During the study, these dopamine depleted rats, they put little droplets of sugar in their mouth. and they got all pumped up, they got excited, they got happy or whatever. And so they still experienced pleasure, but they had no desire to get any more. There was no drive to come back and get more. And so they ended up dying because of it. So this led to something interesting, is that you could still experience pleasure, but without dopamine, you had no desire. And when you have no desire, you have no need to take action. No action is taken. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people to take action. We're trying to get people to do behaviors. So we need to understand these cravings and these dopamines, man. We need to release this kind of stuff, right? Now, here's something that's cool. What they found out was, like, back in the day, they thought that dopamine was just something that was released and completely 100% associated with pleasure or reward, right? You get the reward, dopamine spike. What they found out is that dopamine is also released in anticipation to the reward. See, that's the motivating driving factor. When you see the cue, so a picture this graph, and you have, your cue, craving, response, reward. You do an action, you do something, and you get the reward. You get that pleasure, you get that payoff. Dopamine spike happens at the reward. Here's a cool thing. The second time you see that cue, now your brain has logged that information. It logged that dopamine spike. And now, at the anticipation of receiving the reward, dopamine spike. That is the motivation. That's the push. That's the drive that gets you to go towards that reward. Hey. Oh, I'm pumped up. If I do this behavior, I'm going to get that. And so now with the anticipation locked in, this is kind of the difference between wanting something and liking something. So think about a kid on Christmas. Them mugs are pumped up, boy, they excited. Dopamine going through the roof, man. They all excited on Christmas night, ready to get up. Sometimes that experience is more memorable and exciting than actually opening gifts. Like, I remember just being like so pumped up in the anticipation of wanting to open gifts. Opening gifts was cool, but it didn't have like, sometimes, my friend didn't want no socks. I'm more excited about opening the package, and then when I find out the socks, you feel me? And so this is important for us to understand. We want to get dopamine spikes during our cravings. We want to make them, we want to feel good, because listen, dopamine up, motivation up. The higher that dopamine is up, the more attractive a habit is, the more likely we are to do that behavior over and over again. Got it? Wonderful. Let's talk about how we can make habits irresistible. You can use a method that is called temptation bundling. Okay? And what that is simply linking something or a behavior or a habit that you want to do with a habit that you need to do. Example, I want to go in there and watch Blacklist. Okay, I got a habit. I watch TV show every single night. I want to go in there and do that. I need to come down here and do a Facebook Live. So I link the two together. Okay, before I can go and do the thing I want, I have to do the thing that I need. And so that's temptation bundling. You can do this in any number of ways. And I think it would prove to be pretty impactful. I'm going to give you a tip that they don't talk about in this book, because I've read another book, and these two books combined like supercharges the crap out of this. I mean, it puts this on steroids on effectiveness when you fully understand both of them together. And I'll tell you that right at the end. But that's one way to do it, okay? You got something you want to do, you want to play a video game or something, do a thing you need to do, link the two. Another way to do this is you can combine, if you remember us talking about habit stacking, with temptation bundling. You can put the two together. What that formula looks like is, I will, current habit that you're already doing. So I will do current habit, and then I will do habit that I need to do. After I do the habit that I need to do, I will do the habit that I want to do. That makes sense? I can visualize it because I read it and I do it. If you don't, ask me some questions, okay? But what that would look like is, let's say you need to do daily gratitude. I got people always talking about, I need to be grateful. Well, here's a way to do that. Let's say I need to fit in grateful. Well, what if you drink coffee every single day? That's a habit. After I drink my coffee, I will say one thing that I was grateful for the day before. After I say one thing that I'm grateful for, I will then, watch ESPN. I'll get on my ESPN app. I'll scroll Facebook. Okay, whatever that other habit is you want to do. But you see how you put those two together? Now that will make the thing you need to do more attractive because they're linked together. So it allows you to, kind of flow into other thing like, hey, I know once I finish this, I start to get excited to go do the thing I want. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you this one little tip that's not in this book. And it comes with actually being able to make habits stick. So obviously I run a group where we're trying to help people get healthier and, drink more water and take more steps and eat better, right? And I'm asking their goals at the beginning of the week. Some people, they got a lot of goals. They got a lot of things they want to improve on. Okay? I was the exact same way, guys. I get so pumped up and excited. I want to change things. I try to go too big too fast. I put too many things on the plate. Oh man, we're going to change my diet. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. It's too hard, bro. You're not conditioned to do all those things at once. You need to focus on one. Now, I'm going to tell you a trick that I did that I wasn't sure was right, but now after doing it, it is. So if we're going to use this method, you're in the habit of, we're going to stick with watching Netflix, okay? Because that's what I like to do. I think people can relate to it. I like watching TV. Love it. Well, for my business, I needed to reach out to people every day. I needed to do sales calls and send out messages and all that kind of stuff. Didn't like it, didn't want to do it, didn't care for it, resisted it, hated it. But I knew it was something I needed to do and I wanted it to become a habit. So I did all the things. I made it obvious. I made it attractive. I've got a reward system set up for it, yada, yada, yada. Well, one of the things that I did do early on was I'm focused on this one thing. There's other things I need to do. I need to produce content. I need to make videos. I need to do follow-up calls. I need to do trainings. I need to do a bunch of stuff. But my one and only priority, the one absolute habit without fail I have to do is I have to reach out to people. I need to get new business. That was my one only priority. And when you have a priority, that means I'm locked into one thing and I have to be okay with everything else. Which means if I didn't do those other things, I wasn't allowed to be upset. It was just, that's what it was, not my priority, don't care. Did I do my one thing? If I did, I was good. One. So there were plenty of days where it's just kind of like, I'd come down here and I would do my reaching out. I'd do my messages and calls and all that kind of stuff. And then when I was done with that, I couldn't wait. I'd watch, oh, good, I'm released. Now I can watch TV. Now I can get on my app. Now I can watch YouTube. Whatever that reward was, I did that until reaching out to people became a habit. It was locked in. Now you know what I did? Now it's time for me to habit stack. All right, I've been reaching out for 66 days straight. Ain't missed a day. I got my system down. I'm more efficient at it. I feel good about it. It's time to take on another task. Now entered in create content. So when I was watching YouTube, I couldn't do that no more. I pushed it out. So I have it stacked, temptation bundling. After I do my current habit is now reaching out to people. After I reach out to people, I now have to, do a Facebook Live. After I do a Facebook Live, then I can watch TV. You see what I'm saying? So then I built the habit up of making content. Now, after I reach out to people, then I will do my make content. After I make content, I will redistribute that content to other platforms. Then I can watch TV. All right. Now, there's more to my day, but what I found out is that, first of all, it's a lot easier to pick up habits. It's a lot easier to stack those jokers up. I know the routine. I know the formula. I know the blueprint. And I do a lot of things way before I ever get to reaching out. Like my whole morning is packed before I ever get to my business part of my day. And I'm consistent as all get out. I get them all done. And so that's the key. That's the point. that's not really in here. If you take your time, if you go one at a time, I promise your life will transform a lot faster than you realize. You don't have to do everything at once. It seems like you're going at a snail's pace, but before you know it, you're like, hey, man, I walk every day. Let me try to add in some more water. Next thing you know, you're walking every day and drinking water. You know what? Let me add some more fruit now, all of a sudden. So now you're in 4 months down the road, you're walking every day, you're drinking water every day, and now you're eating fresh fruit and vegetables every day. That's a big change. Now, these are habits. These aren't little things you're attempting. These are habits. This is now a part of who you are. I bet you most of the people watching this video have already given up on their New Year's resolution goals. I haven't. I'm still growing. I'm still progressing. And I've still got plenty of year left because I know I can accomplish a lot more. And so this is important. What'd you say, Delaney? Working on my habit. Awesome. I can't stress enough how think big, go small, how important that is. I think really, really big, and then I whittle it down to something really simple and easy that I can do. And I just, every day. And then when it gets become a habit, I don't have to think about it. It don't take willpower. It don't take effort. It don't take energy. It's just, this is who I am now. Once that's down, new habit. That is what I failed at before. I tried to go too fast, and I've learned from that. And now I'm cooking with speed, baby. So anyway, that kind of went off a little bit, but it kind of tied into what we was talking about make habits irresistible. Make it to where you can't help but do it. And so hopefully we can get to that point. It is work in progress. It's about experiencing your best life. And if you like learning how to experience your best life as we are, do me a favor, like this video, share that with some of your people, do what you got to do. I hope you have a wonderful night, guys. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be back early tomorrow because I'm catching a plane out to Dallas tomorrow. And over the weekend, I'll be live, but I don't know if it'll be over this book. I haven't decided yet. So anyway, guys, hope you have a wonderful night. Until tomorrow, I'm out.